Mm-hmm. Eventually. Okay, there we go. All right, so we should be live. In theory, it'll connect at some point, and people will be here and say hello, and that y'all can hear us. There we go. Hello, Michelle. Okay, good. And I had to manually post it in the Discord because it looks like last week didn't auto post. So I think I might have accidentally broken the ping cord poster. Maybe. I don't know. But I manually posted it, so that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Miles says half an hour or less. Very cool. Okay.
We've been talking about the relay, Miles. All of the secrets.
Yeah. Gossiping.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing the original text.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was one sentence in particular that I absolutely could not for the life of me understand how it connected to anything else that was going on.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Hello, Tinguish.
Good evening.
Okay. I think people are more or less like finding their way in at this point.
We have 3 people in the chat, no less.
Yeah, yeah.
You may be curious about which sentence, Bib, but we cannot say.
I mean, it didn't make any... It wasn't related to anything else that was happening, and it also didn't make grammatical sense, at least from how I could parse it. And it didn't... There weren't really very many content words, you know? It was just kind of a jumble of, like, knowing and seeing, wanting it sometimes to me because thing. Like
it sounds a bit am I one.
I mean, but at least that one has like direct examples in my grammar thing document.
Desire.
Yeah, you gotta nest your clauses. It's fine. Anyway.
Well, I asked the person who came before me because I thought, you know, either I'm just completely misunderstanding how this language works, or there's something else going on. And I asked the person before me, and they said no, that didn't make any sense when they got it either. So, yeah.
Well,
very well.
I tried my best to wrangle it into making some kind of sense. It still doesn't really make sense, but at least it kind of fits with the flow of the story, kind of.
Wrangle we must.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wonder then if, like, because I think that I thought it was long what I got anyway. It's probably very uninteresting for people to be hearing about a relay that we got.
I know. George is like, a relay? Also, hello, Majiko. Hello, George. I mean, we can jump into it and start with our fancy new diagram here that everyone's probably been looking at with much anticipation. So we realized that our naming scheme was confusing because we were calling like As Desidia was M, but really it's like it's this sub M, and then it's not what's eventually going to be on pillar cluster region M. That's going to be, so I fixed it, and we now have this fancy diagram that is color coded based off the pillar where it was birthed. I don't know. So you can sort of see all the tracks now of what stays on one pillar as it changes, and it's color coded and it's pretty, and they kind of sound like flu strains, like H2B2. That's totally a strain of the flu, you know?
Or a Star Wars.
Yeah.
I just think of like classrooms. This is how my school classrooms were labeled.
Really?
Yeah, something like this.
Weird.
Each like department had specific rooms that got letters that were based on the subject, and then they got numbered. So there was like a M1 was music room 1 and M2 was music room 2, and all of that
We
stuff.
had just numbers, and for some reason they were 4 digits, even though there weren't anywhere near enough classrooms to demand 4 digits. But also there was one like wing of the school where for some reason all the rooms there were prefixed with an H. And I can't remember why or what the H stood for.
That's
I
weird.
think we had one with a prefix for annex, but it's because I was thinking of annex, and then it got me. I don't even know what accent that would be.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah, I have no idea what to do about my syncing issue. It's intentional. I don't know.
It's a metaphor because you're presenting yourself. You've separated yourself in time and space, like the humans that are crossing into Pillar World.
Brilliant, Bib. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Hit that one right on the head. Yeah. If it gets like super bad, let me know and I can try like, I don't know. What's your audio interface? So like, George, I don't even know what that means. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm on StreamYard. I don't know what to tell you. That's it. I have nothing else going on. I have a microphone that's connected to my computer and it listens to me. What is your mic plugged into? My computer. Yep. That's it. I don't know. I'm not fancy like you with all your super fancy stuff. Yep. There is no software to reset.
I thought I was being fancy with my little like lapel mic thingy mabob, and then like people were still like, "Oh, if I could get you like a nice speaker, no, not speaker, microphone, I would." I was like, "Oh, I already feel like I've upgraded. It's not working enough." But
Yeah.
anyway,
You know, it's I don't know. The one I have, it's like a short boom mic kind of vibe. Like I don't know, but it's like a Rode mic. Yeah, I mean, I could try plugging it in and plugging it out. But we're doing these two things: ands and noun, left caret, right caret, verb. That's our task for today.
I don't remember what the left caret, right caret verb thing meant.
I was going to say, is this some form of notation that I'm just not familiar with? Because I don't immediately know what that means.
I made it up on the spot. It means noun to verbs, but also verbs to nouns.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I see. Yes.
Rabbit notation. Yeah. Okay. I will attempt. If someone wants to like decide where we're gonna start, I will attempt to see if I can. Oh God, figure out where this chord goes.
Well,
maybe not.
I can introduce why we're all here, which was that. Did you private message Bib, or did you comment last week that you were like you're very interested in like coordination?
I think I made a passing comment to Maddie at some point. But for the birthday stream, I said that I think that coordination is fun, and then somehow that ended up with me getting roped into this. So here I am.
Well, that's because you literally messaged me like within 10 minutes of the end of the stream, I think, and Jake had mentioned like, oh yeah, if Bib pops into this, we should ask Bib about this or talk to Bib about this. And I'm like, it sounds like it's Kismet. So I guess we could also, that's also on the list for today, is that other thing. Okay.
It was more, some people have commented that like Asdosilia isn't Italian enough. And I think a lot of it is that like, even though it looks very much like Kara said, it looks a lot like High Valyrian, which looks a lot supposed to resemble Latin to an extent. And so I think that I kind of tried to go half-half with like the Italian/Latin vibe, I guess. And so I feel like it would be worth it to like fully Italianize, and I trust your views on that a lot more than my own. Especially, I mean, I don't know how much you know about the actual process, but I know in theory how people got from like Latin to kind of contemporary romance, but in practice, I'm kind of just like, let's go.
So we want to make it more Italian.
You're like, but it's already so much like Italian.
I mean, just like, it all depends on what Maddie wants, because like, I don't think it's a bad thing at all if a language like finds its own vibe.
Mm-hmm.
If it feels like, I personally like it when my languages like find their own unique aesthetic. Like, I was very happy when I posted my video on Okolawak, just the breadth of responses. That some people said it sounded like a Polynesian language, some people said it sounded like Arabic, some people said it sounded like an Inuit language, some people said it sounded like Thai, and like it was all over the board. I was like, okay, cool, that means I've found like my own unique aesthetic. And conversely, I was quite disappointed when I posted the Nakachti video and everyone said it sounded like Greek. So I don't know. That's entirely, up to Maddie what her preferences are in terms of how Italian we want to go. But in principle, if we do want to go more Italian, I will do my best to help. I have not studied like Italian from like a historical linguistics perspective. Like, I just know some very broad things, and I can, speak it to some degree, but not fluently yet. So I don't know. Maybe I'll say something useful.
You always say something useful, but
Sure.
don't undersell yourself.
Okay, really quick though, before we continue that, do I sound okay? First off, can you all hear me? And second, is this more in sync? Let me know. I unplugged it, and I plugged it back in. Mm-hmm.
To me, you appear slightly blurry, and you're like half a second behind. But
yeah, same here.
Well, okay, loud and clear.
But yeah, we hear you fine.
We'll see. Well, we wait for more comments on syncing. The best way to help with that. Oh yeah, and a little out of sync. Well, we're doomed. It's fine. Hopefully it's better next week. But yeah, I mean, I think for the daughter, I don't really mind where it is now. I think it could be interesting.
We're not changing anything now. We've already done too many lexical entries.
Okay, cool. That's what I was like. I don't really want to. But like, I could see for one of the granddaughters trying to take it slightly more in that direction. Like, it doesn't need to like. I'm not fussed if people are like, oh, it doesn't sound super Italian, but it does give us something to aim for to kind of split a little bit with the two granddaughters.
I think one of the very interesting things is that I think that it's a lot more obvious if you spell it in the way Italian is spelled, which is one of the things Jonathan said. Whereas when you spell it with the kind of what I would call like the Davidian or Petersonian like standard romanization techniques, which like for general purposes work fine, but it's very strange when you've got like a tradition of how you spell words to make them the language. You're like, oh, I gotta spell ja with a JJA. It looks not Italian at all. Even
it's
if
like High Valyrian looks a lot more like Latin if you replace all of the KS's with X's.
Fair. Okay. So I vote we start though with in Jake nominal coordination.
This is basically because when we were doing one of the items on the list, and I don't know if it was in the modern section or the old section.
Oh, we were talking about how to say goodbye, and we were joking it would be like the first two words we coined in it or something.
Yeah, sausage and death.
Yeah. Oh, you're like, but how do we even say that?
Okay.
Grammar. Okay. So it goes somewhere.
I can't work out where it's supposed to be.
Or what is?
This thing that we were half working on. Did you delete the list thing, or is it somewhere in the ether?
Which list thing?
The one that we worked on last week, where I thought this thing was.
The like the list of words from the
ceremony?
From the
coming of age ceremony, yeah.
I moved it into all the relevant sections, but it is not on its own anymore.
Okay. I trust that sausage and death is what we were going for, and
yeah,
we can just put it somewhere else.
Yeah, because we never like started writing something specific about that out, like about this and this, like that wasn't anywhere. Okay. We were just joking about, saying that in whatever the language is at the time was the joke, but also it's a useful thing to know how to do.
So also, I can say kind of what the two obvious things to me are, and I'm curious what Bib will say in response, because I messaged Bib and Bib had like a Haspelmath reading that he suggested. I was like, okay, I thought I was all right at this, but it's a lot. And then I never found the paper, and I got distracted with Jesse's challenge, so I haven't even fixed the stress marking the Lexgy file. Apologies to everyone. I will fix that at some point when my brain remembers it.
So the paper, by the way, is Coordinating Constructions, an Overview by Martin Haspelmath, and it's a very, very good rundown on all the different possibilities for coordination. And Logan Kersley did an episode reviewing the paper on Theory Neutral with Jacob and Aiden, so they talk about it as well. So basically everything that I have to say can be found in that paper. So if you want further reading, go and have a look at that.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm curious what these two obvious things are.
Some sort of commented when you realize that you don't know how you've been pronouncing, like the whole persimmon thing, where I'm like, which one have I been saying this whole time? And then I changed, and then I've committed to the persimmon. I thought I was going to say persimmon, but then I said persimmon again. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, commutative, surely, not commutative.
I say commitative.
Whichever one you prefer me to say, please insert.
Okay.
So that's one, and what's the other?
usually something that originally meant like both is what I've often used.
Yeah. Those are two pretty straightforward options. So I guess shall I just give like a rundown?
Mm-hmm. Run us down.
Okay, cool. So yeah, coordination. Basically, the easy way to explain it is in English, if you use an and, then it's coordination. Any situation in which and comes up in English is an example of coordination. The more linguistically neutral or more kind of universal explanation is that it's when you've got two parts of a sentence that are in some way equivalent or filling the same sort of role as one another, and you're kind of grouping them together into a set. Like if you say, I saw the cat and the dog. In that case, both the cat and the dog are the object of the verb. So you're just sort of saying, hey, these two things are sort of filling the same role. And so coordination, we're focusing on nominal coordination, right?
Well, I tried to float the idea of doing more verbs for the language with Maddie, and Maddie was like, I don't really feel like verbs.
Okay.
I mean, like, we can do a sketch, but I feel like for this one, I want to do names that aren't like. I feel like we don't need verbs for everything. Now, if Jake, if you're like, we could do verbs.
It felt like I was like presenting like, what vegetable do you not like eating?
What is a vegetable I don't like eating? Fennel.
Oh, I hate fennel.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I felt like I was presenting you with like maybe something that was like I really want to give you spicy food just to see how spicy you can eat.
I mean, we can do this.
I know. Like it's just the whole thing of like I know that you have like these reactions and things, but part of me is just like, well, what if I feed you slightly more and more difficult stuff to consume? And I feel like I showed you, like, I was like, why don't you think about doing like a full verbal paradigm for the language? And you were like, no.
Well, but Stacey, you were too like, you were too gentle about it. You offered me like 2 plates, and you're like, or not even 2 plates. You were like, the server is walking by with fennel on it. How do you feel about that? And I was like, I don't need it. There was no let me chop this up a little and hide it in your applesauce, right? Right? We could try that approach.
I feel like I'm trying to see like what exactly I said. I asked you to decide how you feel about verbs at this point. So yeah, that was a very passive way to present the topic.
Yeah. I am. If you're like, I think it would be a good learning opportunity for us to do this, then I'm game. Or if you're like, it wouldn't be that crazy, we could do just like a toe dip, then I'm game. You know what I'm saying? Like any of these things, I'm game. But if left to my own devices,
For the sake of completeness, I'll just throw in that. So nominal coordination is when there's 2 nouns that you're coordinating, like the cat and the dog.
Okay.
Then there's verbal coordination, which is when you can coordinate 2 verb phrases like I ran and fell over. And then there's clausal coordination, which is when you combine 2 entirely separate clauses like I went to the park and got attacked by a walrus.
No,
that's not right.
I feel like it would be like the
And they
walrus
all-
that attacked me went to the park, wouldn't it?
Sorry?
Or I feel like, oh no, yeah, and a walrus attacked me, yeah.
Mm. This
Because
is
they don't
interesting.
share any arguments. So in English, we use and for all three of those. We just got this one coordinating conjunction for just everything. But a lot of languages will treat some or all of these separately. So it's pretty common to have a split between nominal coordination versus verbal and causal coordination. There are plenty of languages, well, not plenty, but a lot of languages that have a separate strategy for all three of them. There are some languages, I still don't really understand this, but there are some languages that have the same coordinator for nominal and verbal coordination, but a separate one for causal coordination, which I guess just in my mind, just verbal and causal coordination just feel more similar to each other. So I'm just surprised that they'd be treated differently.
The Korean ones, the nominal and verbal are the main ones are related, but the causal one has additional tam, which is why causal is different to the other ones, which because you can always get more information from the other argument. You can kind of like use defective stuff on, because it's also, I guess, from a converb style construction. So
yeah, and that we've at some point we'll talk about converbs, but yeah, it's pretty common to use if a language has converbs, they will very often be employed to deal with verbal and causal coordination. But ignoring all that for the time being, because we're going to focus on nominal coordination, at least for now, there's three different sort of archetypes of strategies, I guess, for dealing with coordination. There's asyndetic coordination, which is where there is no word that means and. There's no coordinator at all. You just put two things next to each other, just like the cat, the dog. And just the fact that they're next to each other is just kind of implied that they go together.
Okay.
Very straightforward. Then there's the most common option, which is monosyndetic, which is what English does, where you have a coordinator that usually, not always, but usually comes between the two things that are coordinated. We'll get back to that in a second. And then there's the least common option is bisyndetic coordination, which would be like the cat and the dog and. So basically, you have a coordinator and every thing that you are coordinating, like if we had a longer list, like the cat and the dog and the mouse and the horse and the frog, all of them would need to have their own coordinator that they occur next to.
Does this include if you have a situation where you have, I don't know how it would actually be in German. I want to say suffix Aufnahme. Like if you have, like thinking of the commutative case example, like you could have a language where the cat is in the commutative and then the dog takes the is that syntactic marking? Like for the role in the sentence. Whereas you could have a different situation where like you if you put one of them in the commutative for the sense of and, you would have to like put the other one in it as well.
So I don't know all of the different ways that this can manifest. The only proper exposure that I've had to a language that uses bisyndetic coordination is Navajo. And in Navajo, you just put the word do just after every single. It's a clitic as well, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I do know that in Russian, specifically when you're coordinating subject pronouns, one of them has to be marked as a comitative. And I don't know enough about Russian to know the full scope or implications of that. But
Japanese uses the comitative as well.
Okay.
But for all of them. So it's something, something. But like if you say I'm going with my friends and my cat, you just like double it up. So it'd be like neko to tomodachi to ikimasu, like cat to friend to go. And there's no like structural difference. But in Korean, there's the same thing, sort of. But you can add something after your commutative to specify that you're not using it in the sense of and, which has become the primary understanding of it now. So you say and something with.
That is very similar to an idea that I have not used yet. But I had this idea for if you had a language with a fairly rich case system where there was a commitative case, and if that was the standard way of expressing nominal coordination, but then the actual like the actual commitative sense was taken over by another case, then essentially you'd just have a case that was only ever used for coordination. And in so doing, the case marker would become like a copy case. Like it's like this thing just fills the same role as whatever the preceding noun is. So it's like look at the case ending from the preceding noun and just copy it here. Which I thought was kind of fun, but I have not used that yet. Anyway, so those are the three archetypal strategies, but I should point out as well that so with the monosyndetic option, yes, it is most common to have the coordinator intervene between the two of them, which just kind of serves to link them together. But it is much less commonly the coordinator can come after the second coordinate. Like famously, this is what Latin does. So if you wanted to say the cat and the dog in Latin, that would be felis, and pretend there are macrons over those e's. Felis, dog, come on, canisque. Where this que, that's the coordinator. That's a suffix that specifically means and. So it's like cat, dog, and, which is kind of unusual. But because Latin is so well known, it's kind of, quite a sort of charismatic example. So yeah, that also illustrates that the coordinator does not have to be a separate word. Oh, thank you, Jake.
Do you need any more?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Canis, I think, just has short vowels. But yeah, so the coordinator does not have to be a separate word. It can be a clitic, so it can lean on either one of the coordinands. So like in Arabic, the coordinator is wa, but it prefixes onto the second element. So let's see if I can. What's the word for cat in Arabic again? Is it? I want to say it's hita, I think, because it's related to.
That's what Google said.
That's what Google said? Okay, well, I'll trust Google. It's something like that.
I'm checking Wiktionary. I can see good and gutta, and also hir and hirra and sanur.
Oh,
Ooh.
There we go.
thank you. Because I'm fairly certain that's where cactus comes from in Latin, and then that's where we get cat
Mm.
in English.
Mm.
It looks like the one with the A on the end is the female, and the one without is male.
Okay. Cool. We'll stick with, I guess that would be Cheta, because of the uvula coloring. So if you wanted to say the cat and the dog, it would be Cheta wa, and then the word for dog, which I can never ever remember if it's kalb or kalb, because one of them means dog and the other means heart. And because like in Turkish, the word for heart is kalp, but of course they don't have uvulas in Turkish, so
I'm gonna Wiktionary it as fast as I can. Kalb with a vila.
with a vila, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd
Which,
be
I'll be honest, just makes me think of Korean kalbi, like ribs.
It is cute, Michelle.
yes, they I don't know what the full expression is, but there's an expression in some dialects of Arabic, I think, where it's like I think it's "don't keep your dog too close to your heart" or something.
Mm.
There's certain cultural views about dogs.
Mm.
So yeah, in the Arabic example, that would be "kutta wa kalb." So the word for "and" you see is not a separate word; it kind of cliticizes onto the second coordinate.
Mhm.
I can't think of an example, but there's you could definitely imagine it a coordinator suffixing onto the first coordinate as well, and
Mm.
you'd think that you might be able to get something like
Let me see if I can think of the right Quechua, because Quechua goes on to the first one.
oh, good.
Oh, I'll just do this one. So cat is Michi. I think it's Michiwan Alko. Which would be cat calm dog. And this is effectively in the nominative.
Yeah, so you can get a
Which the
coordinated
one
color.
where I hadn't. I'm gonna double check this because if it feels like a sklu, or I guess is it a sklu?
What
Spontaneous?
part of it is the clue?
No, sklu has to be a Conlang evolution, whereas this is just. I was in a Facebook group about like fun comparisons of words, and they really hated if anyone did one that was only like one syllable, because they're like, it's very easy for two things that are only one syllable to look like each other.
Mm.
I mean, to me, it looks like nawal because the word for cat is mistli, which kind of looks like michi.
I mean, they probably. I don't know exactly what the origin is, because I don't think they call them michi in Spain, but some sort of like wonder word or something for cat, or presumably via Spanish.
Also, michin is the word for fish, and one is also the comitative.
Oh, okay. I realized what was confusing me now. I kept wondering whether it was wan or mp, but mp is the Aymara suffix and wan is the Quechua. So I just had a cross language mixing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get the coordinator coming as a suffix on the first noun, as a prefix on the second noun, as a suffix on the second noun, and then logically you'd think, oh, well then it could come as a prefix on the first noun too, right? Apparently, that simply does not happen. There is no attested language that does that. And there are various theoretical explanations as to why, but they're not particularly relevant. So, and the last thing to say before we properly make some decisions is that, as we've already kind of alluded to, a very common way of dealing with coordination is with a commitative, which, in case, I'm not sure we've actually said this overtly yet, but the commitative is with. Specifically in the sense of accompaniment. Like, I went to the movies with my friend, not instrument. Like, I cut down the tree with an axe. That's different.
Yeah.
And so about half of all languages in the world, the word for with is the same as the word for and. And you can see why, because they both kind of, get across the sense of things going together. So that is, a very, very common way that nouns can be coordinated. So, having said all of that, do you have any immediate thoughts or preferences, anything pulling you any certain way, any strategy that appeals to you particularly?
I do like the idea of them being the same word. I don't like the idea of it attaching to either of the words, both because I feel like that would give us easier flexibility going into the different daughters, and also because if we attach one more thing to our nouns and as desidia, I feel like we'll cry. So
it could be ecliptic rather than a full, because the wa is more of ecliptic, isn't it, than a yeah. Okay. So
I feel like, though, if we keep it completely separate, though, then it's really easy for maybe some will keep it separate, some will attach it.
You can criticize down the line.
I will also throw in that it's surprisingly common, at least to my mind, how often languages have multiple different overlapping coordinating strategies. Like Latin has the que suffix, but it also has et as well, which behaves like a more typical monosyndetic. You could say felis et canis, which means the cat and the dog as well. And which strategy you use is just entirely up to the speaker. There's no difference in meaning. And then on top of that, you also have atque, which can also mean and. So there's like a bunch of different options. And also in Nahuatl, there's at least 4 or 5 different words that could be translated as and I still don't understand when one is used versus any of the others.
Okay.
So there's plenty of room for variability.
And in Japanese, you have to and ya, and to is this one that's the same as the commutative. I mean, it does more than just that. Because I studied it as like a modern foreign language, I don't have all the right names for things. But ya is used when you're giving a partial list. So like if you say like ringo to orange o kaimashita, it means like I bought an apple, like apples and oranges and nothing else. Whereas if you say ringo ya orange o kamashita, it means you bought apples and oranges and other similar such things. Although whenever you talk about Japanese on the internet, there's always someone who loves to tell you why you're wrong on one very minor detail. But I hope I remembered that correctly. I was thinking whether you have to say ringo ya orange ya, but I think that's if you extend the list, I think you have to have a case particle at the end.
Well, regardless, it is sufficient for the example purpose.
And while we're just throwing out examples, I'll throw in Turkish, you have a standard monosyndetic coordinator for nominal compounding. So if you want to say the cat and the dog, that would be kedi the köpek, and pretend there's an umlaut over that O.
I'm on my way, Bib.
Thank you. I have a Turkish keyboard. Why don't I just switch to that? Remember how it works.
I just have to like randomly press the buttons until there.
Köpek. There we go. So that's the cat and the dog. But if you want to say both the cat and the dog, then instead you say hep kedi hep köpek. So it's like a sort of emphatic thing. I'm not sure actually if hep can be used on its own. It might be possible. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But
yeah,
I don't know if that would be considered bisyndactic coordination because it has a more of an emphatic meaning of both the cat and the dog.
Okay. I feel like I do like the idea of doing the bisyndactic. I feel like it just vibes well with the fact that we have the reduplication of just like, I don't know. I like it. I think I like that. I'm open to the idea of having two versions that essentially mean the same thing though, because we could then pick and choose if we carry it forward, which one we pick and carry it forward in different languages, which could be cool. So two bisyndactic options, perhaps, that don't attach.
Two non-attaching bisyndactic options. Cool.
Yes.
And the weird thing is that with the, like I said, with the monosyndetic, it is unattested to have the coordinator coming before both of the nouns. But that does happen in bisyndactic coordination. You do get languages that have and cat and dog. So basically, are you thinking that the coordinator would come before each of the nouns or after each of the nouns?
I vote before.
Before, okay.
Very hippie. I'm trying to find my Turkish grammar that I know I shoved behind my first. I have like, it's against the wall here. Okay, I found it. Like I have one layer of books on the outside, and then I have an inner layer of ones that I like the covers less of, or I use less often. And then I abandoned my Turkish grammar, and now I want to like look up the hep thing now. Is it in here? Yeah, thank you.
I think it's Turkish. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's either Turkish or something else, or just something someone made up out of nowhere on the internet, which plausible. Is it a thing where you can repeat the noun and change the first letter to like an M to make it mean something like this?
That's Mongolian.
Mongolian. Okay. I saw that somewhere and I was like, I like that. That's so cool.
Or is it? No, that's not Mongolian.
It's something.
So in Mongolian you have if you say a noun twice and then change the vowel in the second noun according to various vowel alternation patterns, that's how you form an associative plural. So like the word for horse is mori, but if you say mori mari, that means horses and things to do with horses. And you have a very similar thing in Tamil, because in Tamil you can say a word like buli, which means tiger, but if you repeat the word and then change the first syllable of the second word to ki, so you get buli kili, and that means tigers and other big cats. So I don't know specifically what language your example would come from, but that kind of stuff does crop up from time to time.
That's cool. I like it.
Remind me, the seedlang was head final, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistently head final. So that means if the coordinator is coming from with, then we would expect it to appear after the thing that it's coordinating.
Then
Yes.
it can go in the back.
You're cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, if it was derived from a modifier, then it would have gone before it, though.
True.
So we can get stuff in the right. Like, I'd also say if you think of like I don't know. I think the bisyndetic is interesting. I'd say if you find a like particular origin you like, Maddie, let's just make it work with what makes the most sense for the language, rather than trying to like
decide,
like squish something in the wrong place. If only because if you do it very consistently, because once we've decided these things, it's more like a puzzle where you try and work out where the thing is gonna come next, rather than being like, oh, this Turkish thing is cool. Because I was gonna see if I could work out where it comes from. It looks like it originally means like always or altogether.
Yes, because hepsi is always, I think.
Yeah, hepsi apparently is like all of it or something.
Because then the C would be the possessive. That's the third person possessive ending. Yeah.
Oh, the hep thing is from Persian, apparently. Something like that. It's ham. So they have yeksale badham mano ham u ez devai kardim. Like a year later, he and I married. So it's like also he, also I married.
I'm surprised how much stuff Turkish gets from Persian. There's a lot of like the relative clause strategy they took from Persian, because there is a relative participle, but then you also just have ki, which acts as like a complementizer, and that's just taken straight from Persian.
I mean, it was used so prolifically as a court language that I mean, it's one of those situations. Like, I saw a video that was trying to claim like, oh, Hindi and Turkish share so much stuff, and it was literally every word was derived from Persian, and it was just a parallel alone.
One of the first comments I ever got on any of my videos ever was some very strange person who, first of all, they ranted about how they didn't like any of the books I was using for Nahuatl, and they recommended some of their own. And they said that in order to learn Nahuatl properly, it is essential that you learn German first, because German and Nahuatl have an exact one-to-one grammatical correspondence, which is, there is no reality in which you could interpret that as being true. So,
that's weird.
I do know that like I think I got one Nahuatl book, the one by Yang Garcia. Like, I think it's like it's a modern form of Nahuatl, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, so many people are disappointed with the book because they thought it was classical Nahuatl. Like, oh no. Like, it feels like there's like zero Quechua discourse online, whereas I know lots of people have very strong opinions about which Nahuatl grammar they prefer. Yeah.
According to our friend, this one, the World Lexicon of that one. Yep. That one. The comitative could come from accompany, comrade, follow, locative, take as some options for the sources.
Any of those speaking to you?
I like the idea, the comrade one of them being like friends, like friend this, friend that, so they're ands or with. I feel like that's funny.
Well, that's one that would work well as like a modifier, I think.
So in the back or in the front.
Like you would be like the friendly X, friendly Y, or the X that is friendly to Y. I don't know. I feel like at that point you end like. I will say like using this as a point to work out. We'll probably get post positions, which is why Bib was saying if we get something, it will probably come afterwards. But let's like try and work it out. I mean, first of all, we should pick two nouns that we're going to say we're dealing with these two things.
Are we going with sausage and death?
Yeah.
We can do.
For our examples, obviously.
I mean, we've got sausage and egg right here, which is the more natural pairing of things. No. Okay.
No, we're just gonna.
The other thing that I would like you to think about, Maddie, is how do you want your split to be between your two coordinators? Because I think that, like, for example, I mean, I can't think of an example of a coordinator specifically for animate when you'd have a different one for inanimate. I can't think of an example like that. But considering like we're thinking about this like friend example, I don't think it would be unreasonable for you to say that if you have an animate that you can use friend something. I think it sounds a bit weird to be like, oh, the sausage and death, the tough friends.
Well, this doesn't help at all, but what if the other one is the word for enemy?
Equally volitional. You could like do a parallel like without, I guess.
I was thinking, yeah, if it could be used as like a disjunct, like or adversative, like a
but. Not.
Yeah. The cat, but not the dog.
Oh, that would also work with like the doubling up as well in terms of how you get to the parallel structure.
Oh, you would say this not but not this by friend enemy.
Well, I feel like I think in European languages, I'm not that aware of like double and marking. But you get like a lot of double negative marking. Like rather than saying like in English, you have like the neither nor thing. But in Spanish, you use the same one. So you would say like ni el perro ni el gato. And you can sometimes throw like a tampoco, which means like neither on the end of it. But you can get away with just using these two. I feel like particle is just what you call stuff where you're like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's either a particle or an adverb. The two dumping grounds of everything that we don't know what it is.
Could we do?
What Wiktionary? It can be an adverb, but yeah, conjunction, I guess.
Could we do that? Or maybe like X without would be.
This half reminds me of like the whole. This may be completely false, and I've just like misunderstood something.
Mm.
But, like, the idea that like the creation of the double negative in English was based on, I think it was Victorians getting really into logic and deciding that like double negatives would cancel each other out in like standard English. Whereas like obviously in most cases a double negative simply implies that both things are negative. This feels like when you try and shove the like logic of, I guess it's a kind of binary logic onto language, it doesn't always work.
I think that was also influenced by Latin, because Latin also disfavors double negation.
So is there a non-binary way to have these two and have them be slightly different, or would they just mean the same things?
I think that if you have enemy, it is as George said, we'll need to like reduce stuff down a lot. Like I feel like, because when you say X without Y, I think you're really modifying X, at which point you would expect that to be first. And so, because at the moment you have friend, friend, enemy, enemy, and you want to do friend, enemy, but I think it would make more sense to do enemy, friend, which still leaves your conjunctive, coordinative thing in the middle slot, which I think also has that kind of logical sense about it. But
yeah, this does also get us away from the whole being able to choose either. So maybe that's not a good direction regardless.
Well, I would describe all of this as one thing, because it's sort of
okay. So maybe this just isn't an option then for simplicity?
I was going to say that seems kind of, the friend in that instance to me seems a little bit unnecessary. As you were saying, like X is without Y, X is like the enemy of Y, then friend isn't really doing anything.
Right. Okay. So we could have this. And then a different one, I guess.
And then with, just as a postposition.
Yeah, I think that works.
Because in that case, so the friend one would come before the noun and the with one would come after the noun. So you could get some flexibility there. I do like that animate split. That is a very cool idea. And
should we go with that then?
Yeah.
Some of the daughter languages could just sort of ignore that restriction at some point and just sort of generalize it to apply to everything, and then the with strategy just sort of gets lost, or the reverse. They could just apply the with to everything and forget the friend one because it's too limited.
Or it could be used purely as an instrumental or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need friend, enemy, and with?
Well, with will derive from something else. But so I'd like, let's go with friend and enemy for now. And we need, like definitely put the final consonants on so that we have somewhere to go from. Because otherwise it's going to be like very short. So this is me saying, do your worst with the chunky roots.
Okay. Here's a list of way too many that we will consider. Also, we have a David who's very sad they watched hockey.
I'm chopped liver, clearly. David wouldn't have regretted watching hockey if it was just me.
Ooh, look at that one.
I watch hockey as well, but I think for different reasons.
Okay, someone say this word. Sold.
It's not evil.
Sold.
That's the sort of cluster David would tell me I never should have let you have.
There we go. Those are our 2 words.
Wow. Also, I specifically told you the ones with lots of...
Aren't those multiple?
No, multiple consonants at the end.
Oh, at the end.
It's fine.
Hold on. No, we're gonna add them.
No, you can't. Don't add any more.
Ooh, LQ. Hell yeah. There we go. Those are our words. I was explicitly told when making proto thingies, I think this is something that George commented on that very first, one of those first streams, that you don't need to be able to pronounce your proto things. So, blame George.
I was certain that David would absolutely hate this. It's one of these things where if you're used to not generating everything, or I should have made us confine things more because it's
And you like before when you used to offer me only reasonable choices to choose from. All right, but
I think the thing is we came up with this like quite early on, where I didn't know quite what we were getting into.
I mean, you don't necessarily need to be able to pronounce them, but someone does at some point.
But at some point, right? Like, not in the proto.
I mean,
it's just you have like 4 consonants and then in the other one 3.
But think of it this way. We have to test our sound changes somehow.
I mean, the sound changes are what they are because I realized that we had to get rid of so much stuff.
I mean, if you all like, we can remove some of these consonants if you all really hate it. But also, I think it's funny. You could each pick a consonant to remove. It can be like a game from each. You both get to pick one consonant from each. Let's go. All right, from the first
one. We get to remove the same consonant multiple times, or is it one in the sense of a singular
instance of one consonant?
Okay.
What's it gonna be?
I mean, the second one isn't quite as bad as the first one.
Okay.
It's still pretty bad.
I want to see what these come out as, and then what I can get with my one consonant leeway. Do you want to see what these come out
Yes, please.
of? So making friend fratil would be hilarious. It would. This would be like this was like when you had your orb being orbis.
Oh yeah.
Like
Regardless. Yeah. I mean, but look how pretty. Like those are so fun. They turned out into something totally pronounceable.
because I shoved as much stuff off of them as I possibly could.
Yeah.
Because in case it wasn't, in case we didn't say this explicitly, coordinators tend to be very small.
Mm-hmm. But we have to reduce them, right? Like we're coming up with the word for friend and enemy, and then we're going to reduce them for what's going to be used for this, right? Or are we reducing the word itself?
We'll reduce the word itself. It's just that I was worried that if you, in my naivety, I thought you might have gone with just like gro. And I was like, well, if the root is gro, we can't really go anywhere from gro. Whereas this is the opposite situation.
I feel like I've been underestimated. So, I mean, we could reduce these if you all don't want to murder consonants, which you don't seem very inclined to do.
No, I'm absolutely going to invoke my power. I think that the T's are particularly, they feel screwy, so I will delete this T.
Okay.
I will say that the RQR sequence is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, maybe Viv will help you out there.
Can I get rid of all of those R's?
Please.
I'll allow it.
As a treat.
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
George thinks it'd be funny if our coordinators are fret and grot, and that it would be very un-Italian.
Absolutely.
Wait, do you want me to do it?
That reminds me of something that I was going to bring up as well, is that in Sanskrit...
Do we get to remove this R as well? And this one?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Viv.
So in Sanskrit, you have these, I can't remember what the proper name for them is, but they're sometimes called enumerative nouns, where when you have nouns that like naturally occur together as part of a set, like, you know, mac and cheese or milk and cookies or something, you can just have the two nouns just compound together and just be expressed as like one item, which I just think is kind of fun.
I do like that. Also, I picked Drerco as something we can use for the other one, maybe.
You're like, we got rid of the R's in the other one.
Why are there so many R's?
It's because of the
changer isn't weighted, so I think that it suspects that there should be an equal number of ones with R as ones that don't have R.
Yeah.
So it's a problem with the coding. If I was doing it, I would very happily just clip everything down. But like, I think lacra, lovely.
Yeah, that is lovely.
Whereas is absolutely terrible.
But that could be something.
I thought a dvandva was when you had two nouns that had opposite meanings and you compounded them together to mean like everything in between these two things,
Mm.
or is that just like a broader category?
The ones that I know best are things like mother, father to mean parent, or is it Fengshan is scenery?
Yes.
Yeah, like Wind Mountain. Yeah. I was not expecting us to get to Fagil. But it's fine.
It's fine. But would it only be? Is it still going to be this whole thing, or we're still going to chop like steel what like a?
Well, this is where it becomes a like we probably say that the G falls out because you make your coordinator the first part. You'll probably feel very awkward ever using it.
Yeah, that's true. We'd pass on that.
So
Become like
I guess
file.
fal or fel.
Fal. David is suggesting fa or fe/go. Although I probably didn't pronounce that correctly, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, if we just remove the G and it's just
Yeah, like as David says, hyper reduced is the name of the game.
yeah. Katsu. And then thanks, George. So would it just be go if we're just doing that, or would like something get pulled out? Would that work?
I mean, it like as David says, you probably want to just like shorten as much as possible. But like, I mean, Romance languages end up with just e or e, but they started off with et, so there's not that much further you can go. Like, I think mp, wan, like you get enough of them that are, especially because like this is being the like animate one. It would basically be kind of in my head more marked. Like if the with one was really long, I would be like no. I think like if there was if you decided that you wanted to like go with gos or gol, I mean, I feel like you're unlikely to get the L because the sir is so much more prominent than it.
That geminate is very
Yeah. Well, and for this one, like, because this is what it would be in as dozeria. These would be what it would be like in the proto, right? If we did that.
Well, these are the as dozeria ones. When you'll have a lot of we'll evolve them from here when we go onto the daughters, right?
Okay.
We don't have to reconstruct them all the way back. So you can have like 7 different nominal coordination strategies.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or you can like say, well, this one was in the old one and it like happened to be like certainly if your with is a very common source of with, I wouldn't be surprised. This whole friend enemy thing is a bit novel.
Okay. But these I can just add to our list of proto words, these forms of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can move those all up. Whoa. What just happened?
Gigar is a good word for thunder. I like that.
Mm. I don't know if that got less readable. Where was I? There's like a section of people words. Here we go. So we'll go with that. So then this whole section then, well, this we can get rid of. And this whole section can move to as does Idia into the grammar section. I don't even know what all that is, but okay. So then we'd be at like, yeah, okay. So then it wouldn't even mean necessarily that anymore. It would be like animate and animate not and, I don't know. Or just grammatical things, conjunction or something.
They could be retained as like full words as well.
Right, separately. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that would be a whole separate thing. So we'd have what would we call this? Just like a command.
Nominal coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Animate coordinating conjunction and inanimate coordinating conjunction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are both animate, right?
Well, you have an animate coordinating and an animate disjunctive conjunction. Disjunctor?
Is it disjunctive or is it adversative? Because disjunctive is or and adversative is but.
Oh. It probably depends which one. And what's the one that's without?
Privative.
Privative.
Privative?
It could be both privative and an adversative.
Like doing both?
Maybe. Does that work? Would probably be easier if
to separate. Yeah.
I don't know.
The A-OK on what? I feel completely lost. Not completely. Just sort of like,
A-OK.
I don't know enough Latin.
Well, AUK is Nawat for never, so I'm assuming that David is fully against this idea.
Oh.
I mean, A-OK sounds like a positive thing, like, right?
I don't know. You can never tell with
okay.
David.
Is anyone ever see okay?
I don't know.
Clash of Kings, the second Song of Ice and Fire book.
I don't know. Okay, so what are we naming this?
We're trying to work out what
would you prefer it to mean?
Or is it just a negator? But
so you want it to mean not death and sausage, as in like not death and not sausage?
Yeah.
like neither death nor sausage.
So I guess it's just a negative coordinator in that case.
Yeah. Although, well, it'd be a bit weird if this was also the word for or, wouldn't it?
And not is, I mean, in Turkish.
I think it usually goes the other way, isn't it? That the or becomes the. I'm never quite sure on the right pathway because there's so many ors and nots that are the same. I feel like the questions are coming very fast.
What is your or? Do you have a butt? Oh, neither death nor sausage.
Well, in Turkish, there's two different words for or. One is veya, which I think might also come from Persian. But the other one is yoksa, which yok is the negative existential copula, and sa is the conditional ending. So it basically means if not, or if not being such and such.
Yeah, veya is the merging of Arabic wa with Persian ya.
Yeah, that was it.
It's kind of fun.
So you use, as I understand it, although I think there is some variation, you use yoksa as like an either or. No, other way around. Veya is like you're just like listing a bunch of options that aren't necessarily mutually exclusive, whereas yoksa is like this one or this one or the other.
Or
yeah,
else
because I guess you have to be specific.
is one thing that they. Oh no, I thought that was the definition for that sense of it, but no, that's as a clausal conjunction.
This or that or both, and a this or that not both. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
I for vicious. And tie for titious.
I guess so.
Enticing.
All right. Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay.
This is where the cliticky thing becomes marginally more important. Would you I see fascia and I instantly want to say fascia.
Yeah.
Which would be more cliticky, but thus, like, I guess, I don't know.
It would be quite Italian if we say that fa, if the following word begins with a vowel, then it just blends straight into it. So it would be like fascia. But it would remain fatalo.
Do we have to do anything here?
No, it's so the thing with clitics is that they are phonologically dependent, but they are independent in meaning.
Okay.
I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like George has written, like F apostrophe.
I vote we do that in one of the daughter langs once we've already fixed our hot mess dumpster fire.
Well, it wouldn't be. It doesn't. The only thing it does is lose you like an independent syllable in a place that's like not super prominent.
Yeah, but isn't it
if
like a lot
you
of
really
words?
don't like it, we can keep it separate for now.
I'm just worried about like like nothing is nothing is sacred in our words. They all get chopped off in both directions and go away, and I
Well,
don't
but this
know.
only ever adds on. It doesn't ever take anything away.
Okay, so I guess if you think of it more like that versus
Yeah. So
okay, worded
this is
like that, I can
something-
accept it.
So this is something that happens in
Mm.
so like when a lot of English speakers are learning Latin, they have this
Mhm.
very bad habit of putting glottal stops between a vowel final word and a following vowel initial word. Like if you want to say like if you want to say it is big, you would say I've lost track of where we actually are. Hold on, where are we?
You can just click on one of us at the top.
There it is. So in Latin, if you wanted to say it is big, then that would be the word for big, at least in the feminine, is magna, and the word for it is est. And so there's a lot of native English speakers really want to like make those two words as separate as possible. So they'll say like magna est with like a very clear break between them. But that is actually not only does that just not happen in the Romance languages, it's actually explicitly forbidden. Like the Latin grammarians talk about this and say that is a bad aspect of pronunciation. You are supposed to make the vowels blend together, even between words. So that would come out as like mangest, like the A and the E like blend into each other. So this having the fa lean on the following vowel initial word, it's basically exactly the same concept.
Okay. Okay.
It's also kind of like, I don't know. Did you ever study French?
Me.
Yeah, you.
I know one line
Sorry.
in French, and it is from a song in French, and it's not appropriate, so I can help not at all. It's not that inappropriate.
It's not voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir,
It
is
is
it?
that. That's the only thing I know to say in French. So clearly I'd be fine in France, right?
Of course. Like, so, when you say like, I love you, you say, je t'aime.
Mm.
I really hope I've spelled that right. And you can see that like the T bit that means you, it's just like this little consonant that gets stuck on the front of the verb because aimer starts with a vowel. But when you make it negative, it would be je ne, no, je ne, no, that would be je ne t'aime. My French is not good enough to be making up examples on the fly. I am very quickly learning. Like if you throw a object in, like je n'aime pas du fromage, which is true. I do not like cheese. But if you say I don't like you, it would be je ne t'aime pas, I think. Although this is very formal at this point, which is why I realized that I've forgotten the proper way to do it. Because in casual French, you can basically just use the pas. With
That's
the treadmill thing or whatever you call it.
The discontinuous negation, which
Yeah.
have we talked about negation yet?
No, I think that's got too much to do with
Too verby.
too verby. True.
I mean, it's fine.
Well,
Whatever.
this is why I like it's. I want you to like get onto the verby ergative branch because then we'll have verbs to do stuff with.
All the verbs. There will be no
All
nouns.
the all the
All
time.
verbs. I like it.
But yeah, like basically, oh, and like you can also have like j'aime Paris.
There we go. Sorry.
I don't know if I need a thing there or not. I'm not sure.
Crow.
I'm gonna stop using French as an example, but anyway, you can see that like you get a bunch of stuff that just sticks to everything. Goodbye. Au revoir.
Yeah, words blending together is a pretty romance thing. Well, I mean, words blend together in loads of languages, but like...
Exactly, Nemo. Nouns here do one thing, and that's existing.
In Spanish, it doesn't happen all that often. You have the whole like al from al. Like you have like lots of synthesis, but things don't tend to blend as much, I would say.
Like that's, I think, one of the hardest, or at least one of the most like annoying to learn things about Italian is that the prepositions have merged onto the following articles. So like you have to memorize a whole bunch of different, like I'm trying to think of an example now, like nel, which comes from like in el, and col, which is like con il, and they all just kind of crunch together.
Portuguese, there's more of that. Just because everything's gone to vowels, basically. Like a u becomes au, and like you have this really annoying stuff where like you have there's two forms of na, I think. One that's like the basic form, and then there's one that's a shortened form of like at the, but because like the beach is a praia, but to the beach is na praia, but it's slightly different. I think you have to spell it differently, and I don't remember about the sound, that the na that isn't with the combined article and the na that is without it, I think are slightly different or something. And it will okay. So we've got like 20 minutes left.
Drerko comes out as detcho? Or is that a geminate ch?
Detcho.
Detcho. I might be tempted to reduce that geminate. Just do detcho.
It could also be even like, would we want to reduce it more?
Quite possibly.
I mean, I'm slightly annoyed that the stress is where it is, but we're not going to get around it at this point. Because I'd much rather go with a. Well, I guess, is it coming at the end?
It is a postposition, so.
So it probably could reduce down to cho.
I do kind of like that.
The end is surely, especially with the Africa, it's like the. I don't know. I think that considering where this, like, you'd have to say basically that because it's a postposition, the initial stress on it is like
pretty weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's like how Latin ego became yo in Spanish. So yeah, we could just cut it down to cho.
Mhm.
Do you prefer cho or dech?
I like cho.
Cho. Okay.
We do have one problem though.
Oh, and what does this mean?
Oh, we haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
This is the inanimate coordinating conjunction, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So one option would be to have this be the same as your instrumental.
But we already have that. Oh well.
Do we?
Wait, do we?
Wait, not an instrumental. No, never mind. No. We don't have an instrumental.
I was wondering about whether there is an associated case with this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I associate it more with Polish than anything else, but that's because it's the only Slavic language I studied for more than a day. But like you have different pairings of prefixes and case endings to create different nuances about the overall noun phrase.
Latin does that as well, a lot.
Well, I think it's just that, like, obviously in the modern languages, you lost the casiness, which feels like it should mean cheesiness, but obviously it doesn't.
Casiness.
Yeah.
Do you just like all cheese?
I'm okay with like mozzarella and like parmesan, mostly through exposure, I would argue. So I'm fine with like the extreme ends of like the one that's so young that it has little cheesiness to it, and the one that's so old that it goes from beyond cheesy to like its own thing. But everything in the middle, like there was one time when I was at school and someone threw like a cheese string past me, and I know cheese strings aren't even that strong in cheese flavor or scent anyway. But I literally threw up directly into my lunchbox because I was so disturbed by the experience.
Wow.
That's wild.
I did used to eat slightly more cheese as a child, but I think it's because I felt very awkward about like saying no. Like if I had like beans and cheese on a jacket potato, like I would have to like do this thing where I would hide the cheese under the beans, wait for it to melt, and then mix the cheese so thoroughly into the beans that it wasn't perceptible as a different thing. I feel like calling string cheese mozzarella is an affront to Italian cheesemaking culture. And yeah, this is the thing. Like I have this very strong reaction to cheese smell, but like I love kimchi and I can't smell the fermenting smell. Whereas my parents had to be like, please do not bring any more kimchi home because we can't live with it in the fridge.
Wow.
The Chinese family that I lived with for a while, I had the honor of that they'd never had cheese before, so I made them a cheese board. It was a very fun experience. Their favorite was double Gloucester.
That's kind of cool.
Gloucester with onions and chives, I think it was.
Yeah.
Now neither me nor David would enjoy that.
I think that would be good.
Yeah. I do like paneer. But I feel like, again, paneer is fresh enough. It doesn't have any real cheese flavor. And like I'll eat ricotta, which again, like anything that's like on the ends, I'm fine with.
I have a there's a certain point where a soft food there's a certain sort of texture threshold where if it's not solid enough, like if I can't bite down into something that has some resistance to it in some way, then I find that extremely off-putting. So anything too creamy is not not for me.
When I put cream cheese on bagels, I do it as if I'm plastering the surface, so it only goes in holes, which I have done my whole life. And I didn't realize that people really enjoyed the cream cheese. I just use it to moisten the bread. Yeah, so that's where I am.
It looks like Maddie's actually been doing some work. Well, we've been just talking about cheese. So it comes from a verb that means take.
Lovely.
Is that what we're going with? Like that could work. First of all, have we decided where adpositions come from in this? Are they?
We don't have any other ones yet, I don't think.
Okay, so like generally speaking, adpositions can come from either nouns or verbs, and most languages will have like I was going to say most languages have a preference, like they'll take most of their adpositions from either verbs or nouns.
Okay.
But you can get some mixing, and especially if adpositions evolve in like multiple waves throughout history, like there can be like an initial set that come from nouns, let's say, and then later on there's like a new wave where verbs get shortened up and become like a second sort of class. But if we're saying that this verb comes from take, which that makes sense as the origin of an instrumental, and potentially comitative as well.
It's under both.
Yeah. So I feel like we've at least mentioned this at one point before, but like in a lot of languages, including English, the instrumental and the comitative are the same. Like in English, you say, I go to the movies with my friend and I cut down the tree with an axe. You know, it's with covers both of those senses of accompaniment and instrumentality. And I think it's a pretty even like 50-50 split. So do we want to have both of those covered by this one? Oh, I'll throw this in as well while it occurs to me. So in Swahili, the word for and is the same as the word for with. And the word for with, I believe, covers both comitative and instrumental functions. And it's also what you use to reintroduce the agent of a passive. So if you say, like, I got attacked by a walrus, you know, the word by there is the same as the word for with, which is also the same as the word for and. So if you look at it, it just looks like it says, I got attacked and a walrus, which just, it's very, and also that reminds me of, I can't remember what language it is, but I've seen a language at some point where there is no verb that means to have. So if you, this is pretty common in a lot of languages. You, instead of saying I have a dog, you say there is a dog with me, or a dog at me, or something along those lines. But in this language, the word that you use for to convey predicative possession is also the word for and. So you literally say there is a dog and me. And that's how you say I have a dog. It's just like a, looking at just that example on its own, it seems like a weird way of phrasing it, but it makes sense.
Yeah. So if we add an instrumental, does that mean we're adding another noun case?
No. So we use the term because if you say like it means with, it implies a whole bunch of stuff in English that we don't necessarily mean. And
Okay.
so, like, this is kind of like, I feel like, have you had this idea that, like, this is probably a much broader debate, but I think that I can, like, hone it back in, that, like, the idea of untranslatability is silly because you can basically, the thing that changes is the number of words or whatever, that you can kind of take the same concepts in one sentence and then shove them all in a, well, not necessarily every single one of them, but you can shove the gist of it into any other language in general, and the things may not be in the same place, but they still kind of mean the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound, because, like, you can take a language that has loads of cases like Quechua, and you can translate almost anything in Quechua into Mandarin and it will work.
Right.
It's just that the same grammatical functions are done in different ways in different languages.
Yeah. I
So when
think
we say
that
instrumental, it's just that that's the function of the postposition rather
yeah.
than it being like, and this is how you understand that, like, loads of case marking systems come from adpositions as well,
Right.
because
I think
they
that makes sense.
do
I am
similar stuff.
I'm very happy for these to be the same and not at another noun case.
The
As long as
competitive.
that's not what we were talking about. I was like, oh no,
No,
I
we have
can't
no.
take it.
Well,
Yeah,
with the
you will just have a
competitive
very small
demarking,
number of postpositional meanings that the case system will cover, but for everything else, you'll have like separate words.
Okay. So, okay, cool. So we'd have that. I do have a problem though. Is death and sausage animate or inanimate?
oh, that's your world building that will have to decide it.
Mm.
Also, I think that this means death as in, I think it's from the verb rather, like, obviously I don't know the history of English well enough to say anything like assertive about where this is in English. Like, I think that the way that we use death as a animate thing feels far more mythological than anything else.
Yeah.
Uh,
My
If the word for
increment-
death just is like the verb that means to die, that's just been nominalized, then I would expect it would probably be
yeah,
inanimate.
inanimate.
Ach is also the word for death in Nakachti,
Oh, that's cool.
I think. Was it ach though?
Well, that's Doom or Deathbringer is Achto.
Oh, interesting.
So I think death is more of like not of the verb. I don't know what using it in this case means, but we don't have it under verbs at least.
As Nemo is saying, like, if you really wanted to, you could poetically make death animate. If you said, "Death and pain are visiting me."
Yeah. I feel like default inanimate though.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So then we'd have to replace these.
So, what happens if there's a mismatch in animacy between the two coordinates? What if it's like death and a dog? Do you like mix and match the strategies, or do you default to the inanimate one?
Well, if you said I tried to think of an example sentence when the answer is death and a dog. Like, what do you dislike? Death and dog. I feel like you would end up with something. Yeah, I bought a dog and a shovel. Let's go with that. I feel like like personally, I think I would lean towards the fluid S sort of strategy where the nature of the verb determines the expected volition of the argument. So if you say buy, you would expect like if you're buying, I guess you could buy animals, and if you said I bought a dog and a cat, you may personify them or like raise the animacy. But again, if you said, oh, I bought a chicken and a duck, and the idea is that they are dead, you're probably not going to say my friends the chicken and the duck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of those cases where if you have if you had like a system that was perfect, you would have some kind of like easy resolution. Like in I'm trying to think in Japanese because they have animate and inanimate verbs of location. So like if you said there is a dog and a basket, I think you would end up repeating the verb with each. Yeah, but like I think to make it make sense.
So maybe in this case, we would have to fall back on verbal coordination.
The only problem is, in most cases where we're using this, we won't know what the verb is.
But you'll have a sense of it.
Yeah, but like, what if we're calling like an area mountain and wolves?
Or to use a real world example, elephant and castle. Which have you ever heard of elephant and castle? Or
No.
is this just a very?
Oh yeah, you haven't been to London, have you?
No.
Yeah.
It's a place in London.
I hope. I'm just gonna bring it because I think David will get some joy from it. But there's also one of the termini.
Termini. Termini.
Is Cockfosters, which is an excellent place. But anyway, like Elephant and Castle is a part of London. It has one of the largest Latin American communities in the UK now.
Well, here's I guess the question. If we're gonna go with looking back at the verb, we need to actually do verbs, don't we?
You could just say that like there's like an implied verb. Like if you say elephant and castle, that would be like there is an elephant and a castle. And so you would just sort of
that's fair.
Assume the semantics of what the verb would be, even if the verb isn't actually there.
Or if you really wanted a shorthand, you could say that the first noun in the pair is more semantically salient, and you'd have your friend elephant, and then you'd say, "Oh, and I guess my friend the castle."
So you would go with whatever the first noun is?
The whole friend thing is so implausible with unvolitional agents. I would say if they're either one of them, kind of, it feels like anti-animate. Although I feel like animate folks are not usually discriminated against. But like, you know, in Spanish, you have this rule, which is, I don't know exactly how sexist it really is in reality because it's not used always in gender in languages is not the same as being discriminatory against a socially constructed gender. But the masculine is considered the unmarked default, basically, in Spanish. And so if you say the boys and the girls are Spanish, I guess we'll go with that. Like you can like default to the masculine, and you do that actually to say boys and girls. You would just say los niños, and to say niños y niñas, you would just say los niños, because otherwise it's considered tautology by the very snooty people at La Raya. But I think you could have a similar rule that says, like, if the animacy is mixed, you have to use the postposition, and you say that like this like I lost my train of thought because I was reading David's example sentence.
How dare you? You were saying use the postposition?
Yeah.
And then something?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's basically all you need. It basically is saying that like the sense of animacy is so strong in the fa coordinator that you have to use cho. If one of them is not animate.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because take is also quite neutral. If the inanimate was super inanimate, you could have considered maybe some sort of mixedy thing. Well, the thing with Polish is that it has like a specific human masculine plural and then a separate non-human masculine. And you're just like, come on, Polish. It was already hard enough. Like, why are you making us do all this extra stuff? Yeah. I told you I'm going to Poland, right? I don't know if I said it on stream, but yeah. I'm going at the end of the month for work. So in
very good.
2 weeks today, I will be Polsku, I think. Well, what's the case? Yeah.
How many cases does Polish have again? Like 8?
7.
7.
Only 7. A reasonable
Only 7
number.
and like 5 genders, or like 3 genders with like 3 subgenders within the gender.
Yeah. I mean, it ends up feeling like, as you say, like you have your 3 singular genders, and then you have the plural feminine and neuter, I think, are often the same. But yeah, you have the distinct human masculine plural and non-human masculine plural. Evil. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get ready to talk about the relay some more by getting the original text. And we have a new Discord group. I think I've made too many Discord groups, but I think it's quite fun that the Pillar World linguists are more connected than ever before.
Yeah. Well, Bib doesn't want spoilers.
Well, Bib's done now, so Bib can have spoilers. Well, Bib also said that he was interested to read the original text, although I don't know if you said if you'd rather do it now or at the later date.
I will. If you post it, I will have the freedom to choose.
That's true. So, well, I won't post it publicly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Tak, English. Może trochę po polsku, I think. Anyway.
Fish. That's the only word in Polish I know.
I love jenki. Jenki is such a fun word for like thanks.
Jinky.
Yeah, it's the like colloquial form of jinkuya, which is the full way of saying like I thank you. Well, it doesn't. I don't think it has the I thank. It's like I thank.
Valid.
Well, we have 2 nominal coordination strategies, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I was so bold to believe that we could do more than just nominal coordination.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we have nominalization next on the docket, right?
See, I was wondering, like, at one point, if the way to get around that would, like, the whole thing with Maddie not wanting to do verbs would be basically to say that there's, like, one verb that we make that acts as a light verb for every single.
Like Basque.
Yeah, kind of like Basque. And that way we can just treat the verb roots like nouns, basically.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
But I feel like it's kind of, it means that you would expect one verb that's so irregular like you'll never remember any of the
yeah.
structure.
I mean,
I mean, that's what I did for Talk for Mia, and it's
Yeah.
worked kind of so far.
yeah. We can also do verbs. If there's a reason to do it, I have no issue doing it.
I think that you've denied yourself reasons to do it. I mean, the real question is, like, are you ever planning on doing a relay in a Pillow World language?
I mean, I feel like there's a good chance that I'll do something in Pillar World where I will need more of a full language.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
in the universe.
Yeah. Like, because I wouldn't use, if I'm just naming things, right, then, like, depending on how the naming schemes work, I do or don't need it, right? But, like,
I wouldn't have said that nominal coordination is all that useful for naming things, but we've got here.
yeah,
And
that's
David says, better to have it and not need it. If you are, like, in a relay situation and you're like, oh my god, I need to come up with verbs. I mean, I don't think you would go into a relay without having main verbs.
yeah.
But
Well, how about this then? Let us do verbs, and then I will understand the context also of how much it is to do and how much of it is to, like, and then we can decide for other ones.
You make them do.
Yeah. Well, because, like, I've only really done verbs in Osmala, which is all verbs almost.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all
like,
verbs all the time.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like my understanding of the level of complication of adding verbs is maybe, like, greater than it needs to be.
Verbs can be very straightforward, despite what some would have you believe.
Especially because this is verb final, a lot of the syntactic stuff should have already happened on your nouns, which is basically what we have. So, like, Japanese, it does mark quite a lot on verbs, to be fair, as does Korean. But bad example. In theory, you could get away with, like, having a lot less stuff.
I mean, Turkish is fairly straightforward. I mean, it also marks a lot of stuff on the verb, but, like, it's very agglutinative and very regular, and just because in your case, you've already got cases that are clarifying the relationship with everything, so you don't need to worry necessarily about, like, subject or object marking, and tense is, like, entirely optional, and theoretically aspect could just be done with, like, adverbs and things. So really, the verbs don't have to be very complicated at all.
I added it to the list.
Yay!
Verbs.
Good.
Well, we've got a whole week to decide what we're actually doing next week. So
Very well.
And then I'll be off again in 2 weeks, so you'll have to work out what you're doing then.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Verbos. Also, hello, Kieto. I don't know if I've seen you on a stream before. Hello. Donkey. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I don't know. Is that us for the week?
I'm
For
trying
some
to
reason, I
think
read
of.
that as Italian. I read it as donkey, but
I read it as Mandarin, and then I was like, I can't remember what dong see.
don't see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just verb. Yeah.
Oh, it is Chinese. For verb. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very good. Okay.
Homsa in Korean. From the same origin.
That makes sense.
Okay. Just stop the stream.
There are more things happening. I need to at some point we finish the schedule. I'll actually put the schedule up. Specifically, when David is here, we'll put the one up that is David's version, and when David's not here, we'll put the non-David's version up. But yeah, there's more streams during the week of other people's.
No, I had this sudden flash where the Dongsi was like from I can't remember it, like Happy New Year, and then I was like, no, that's Cantonese, and I don't think George has a reason to be using Cantonese.
Wait, they have been fixed, David. The times are correct.
Rude.
They've been fixed since like the middle of your stream where you brought it up and were like, the times are wrong. Miles had already fixed it. And then I added onions to your version and posted it in your Discord. It was great. Okay. I think we have to cut ourselves off at this point. David. All right. Well, we'll remedy that later. That one's in the festival channel chat server thing. I don't know. BS. Okay, cool. Yay, we did things. Bye. Okay, I'm just ending the stream now. I'm clicking the button.